Hi everyone, thanks for joining for today's tutorial on side crow. So side crow is a difficult one because not only is it a twist, it is an arm balance. So we have a few things that we really need to piece together. And the problem is if we twist and make ourselves smaller and more constricted, then it's going to be really hard to carry the weight of our bodies and find that space to hold ourselves. So I'm going to break this down and give you a few drills and show you exactly where the leg is coming up against the arm and how the elbows are being used here, where the gaze is, because I know it can all get a little bit muffled sometimes when you're in a class. I've got a brick here, which you may want to use as well if you have something like this. It doesn't have to be a specific yoga block, but it may help you later on. So now, first of all, before we get into the brick section, I want you to use your mat or the space, so it's kind of like widthways, and come up onto your tiptoes. Now this is going to call upon you to find some balance. Squeeze your thighs together. Like squeeze your thighs together so much that the legs become like one big leg. So there isn't really a gap between them. Hug. The more that we can hug into our midline, the sort of central channel running down our bodies from the crown of the head, down the spine to the pelvic floor, the inner thighs, the more stability you are going to find in this posture. So squeeze the thighs together like it's one big leg. And then you can bring your hands together in front of your heart, prayer position, or I love to come into this. It's called Hakini Mudra. Press the fingertips and the thumb tips together and really actively press the fingertips together so that the upper body switches on. Now already maybe the feet are starting to feel it. The first stage to side crow for me is finding the rotation in the upper body, and at the same time with the thighs squeezing together, they actually shift the other way. So I'm twisting towards my right. My upper body is twisting towards the right. Squeeze the thighs together and they will shift to the left. And then bring yourself back into center. So just focus on one side for the moment. Twist your upper body to the right. Thighs shift to the left. Back to center. And the breath will help here. Inhale, expand, lengthen, twist. Exhale, bring yourself back into center. And anytime that the toes are just feeling like they've had enough, come out of it, give yourself a little break. So already before you even think about going forward into the arm balance, biomechanics, figure out what the upper body is doing, what the lower body is doing, engage everything, and then we'll move on. So that is stage number one, which you can always practice if you come into a class and you're not quite ready to move on from that. It's a really strong place to be. Stage number two for me is about bringing your hands to the floor. So you find that twist that you're able to hold and your hands will come down. And I always think chaturanga hands and elbows here. So your hands are about shoulder width apart and you're going to bend your elbows. Imagine you've got an elastic band hugging around your upper arms so the elbows can't shoot out to the side. Squeeze and hug it in. So the action of the elbows there is to kind of wrap the upper arm bones in and try and shine the eyes of the elbows forward. And then when you bend your elbows, it's doing the same thing. There's no pushing out here. Squeeze in and consolidate the movement. Make it really specific. So that's what we're trying to achieve over to the side. Elbows squeeze in. And this can be a really nice little exercise, clawing the fingers into the floor and just pulsing the elbows down and up with a good old push. Now, from there, what often for me goes wrong at this point is that you've got the bend in the elbow and then it's like you just face plant the floor because we melt into this pose. What's missing is the lift in the hips. And it's difficult because you're in a twist and you've got to try and lift the hips up. So your obliques, your side abdominals, have to switch on. Now, when you do regular crow, bakasana, when you break that one down, the hips have got to come right up. So before you even think about going forward and taking the weight forward, the hips have got to come up. And really, it's the same thing in side crow. Otherwise, we get that sort of heaviness, right? Just pulling down because we haven't lifted ourselves away from the ground yet. So, hands on the floor, bend the elbows, think chaturanga. You're going to want to start to look forward. If you look down, again, the face plant may happen here. So look forward in the direction that you want to go. Because what we're trying to do is start to even out the weight, because the legs weigh more than our head and our shoulders. So we're trying to even the weight up here. Bend the elbows and then get your hips up. And then lower the hips back down again. All I want you to do is lift the hips up, look forward, and then lower down. We've not even connected the big leg up against the upper arm yet. So lift the hips, claw against the floor, and lower down. Lift and lower down. If you don't feel that in your obliques, side body, you are a machine. So that's where we want to feel like a contraction. So we lift the hips up and down. Then, once the hips are high enough, do I suggest bringing this big leg, the one leg that we have, the side of the right leg will come up against the back of the left tricep. And it's almost like we use it as a shelf. So what I want you to do is just rock forward and back until you feel then happy to take the weight of the leg forward with you on top of the back of this left arm. Forward with you, look forward, and rock it back. Back and forward. Now, if you're really struggling to get that, and it is hard, bring in the brick. So with the brick, and it's the same way that we would use it for regular crow, if we're just not quite there with the feet off the floor, feet come up onto it, and it's the same thing. This will already give you that sense of lift. Hands will come down, you look forward, shift the weight forward, bend the elbows, and then connect the legs to the back of the left arm, and then press back. Get your hips up, and then rock back. So this may be very helpful in a way that you can start to feel, actually, you can understand and imagine how the feet will eventually come off the floor. So keep rocking it forward and back. I haven't taught this the sort of cheat way where you bring the leg against the back of both of the arms, because I want us to get used to just working on the one. Keep working those drills before you're ready to fly. Otherwise, we get ourselves into habits that are really difficult to come out of. When the feet come off the floor, weight distribution. You're looking so far forward that the feet will just come off of the mat or the brick. Keep looking forward. And then you can bring the feet back down. The higher that you can get your hips, the better that this all is. The more that you can keep those elbows squeezing in, the more that you can look forward consistently, the better that this will be. Now, the thing that always goes awry is your breath. It is so easy to hold the breath in arm balances, in any kind of inversion or any kind of balance. So try and keep it consistent, and that is something I have to tell myself all the time. So we first of all start off with the twist, with the hands, bending the elbows, shifting the weight forward and back by lifting the hips, connecting the big leg up against the back of the left arm, until we're then ready to shift further forward, and the legs, like a seesaw, just come up. I don't want you to fight with this. I don't want you to have to jump into this. It's like a seesaw. You tip, 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 tip. The weight at the top of the body outweighs the weight at the bottom part of the body. And really, that is the key to these arm balances and these inversions. Weight distribution. Where's got control now? Where's got the foundation against the floor? So we'll take it together, with or without your brick. From the top, tuck the toes, sat on the tops of the heels. Hands can be together in front of your heart. And you will twist your upper body to the right. You will shift your legs, squeeze them together to the left. Do not separate the legs. Then you can bring the hands down, hands about shoulder width apart. claw the fingers into the floor. Bend your elbows, look forward, and then try and bring the shoulders back a little bit, just so that we don't end up looking a bit like a golem. Shoulders back. Hips rise. Your bum will come away from the heels. And even that, you can stay at and just focus on. Then when you're ready, bend the elbows, look further forward, and connect the leg up against the back of the left arm. You can stay there, or if you're ready to go even further forward, feet may come off the floor. At which point, you may be trying other things out, separating the legs. Who knows? That's for another day, maybe. Then bring your feet down and shake it out. Did you remember to breathe? Not sure I did. But there we have it. Broken down side crow to one side. Same will apply to the other side, of course. Twist, engage, also expand, lift the hips, shift the weight. It is a very well put together jigsaw puzzle. So I'm going to leave you with that. A few little things you can come back to, and if you have any questions, please get in touch with me. I hope it was somewhat helpful, and there's something in there that you can take with you to your Vinyasa flow class, to your Ashtanga class, to your Iyengar class, any class, when the teacher busts out side crow. All right. Thank you so much for coming. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and tell all of your friends. I really appreciate it. Take care.